In this video we're going to look at cities, megacities and world cities. So I guess the most logical starting point is, well, what is a city? A city is a large human settlement that is in permanent residence and is densely populated. Permanent means it is always there. Densely means there's a lot of people living there. The way they do it, it tends to be per square kilometre. So 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre by 1 kilometre, and how many people are living in there. If you live in a skyscraper, there are going to be hundreds of people in that square kilometre. If you live in the countryside, it's going to be very small. So a city is a large settlement that is permanent and has a lot of people living there. It is densely populated. However, the meaning of a city will vary between country and country. In Sweden, you only need 50,000 people to make a city. However, in the UK, if you have a cathedral, you are classed as a city. So St David's in Wales, as of 2011, only had 2,000 people, but because it had a cathedral, it was a city. Right, let's move on to the next thing. What makes a megacity? Well, to me, the title gives it away. Megacity. It's got to be big. And so that means there's a population of more than 10 million people. In 1950, there were only two megacities, Tokyo and New York. In 2016, there were 31. By 2030, there are going to be 41 megacities. And that's a lot of people. So megacity, more than 10 million people. This one is important. What makes a world city? Now, not every city is a megacity and not every city is a world city. In fact, there are more megacities than there are actually world cities. So let's look at what a world city is. A world city is also called a global city or a world centre. This kind of tells us it's a centre of something. It is generally considered to be an important node. In other words, a focal point in the global economy. So not just the country's economy, but actually the world's economy. And there are 8 key things, and we're going to look at 8 key criteria separately. The very first one is it's a centre for media and communication. London used to be the headquarters of the BBC. It still has lots of newspapers that have their headquarters in London. So it is a centre for media and communication. A world city is also a place for manufacturing. In other words, making things, clothes, cars, computers. That is what infrastructure is. So it needs to be a major centre for infrastructure. It needs to have loads of highly rated universities. London has numerous universities and further education colleges and other training establishments. So that's what makes it another thing that makes a world city. There's also a lot of cultural opportunities to go to the opera, to the ballet, for musicals, to cinema. In the UK, we have the Trooping of the Colour. You have the West End, where there are numerous musicals that you can go and watch. Now, to give you an idea, somewhere like Brighton, which is a city, doesn't have the same cultural opportunity as what London offers. It is a headquarters for very large companies. In other words, large banks like Barclays, HSBC, large businesses, Google, have their headquarters in London and not in any other city in the UK. It's also a centre for innovation. In other words, how to make things better, how to make cars more efficient, how to make phones work better. So it needs to be a centre for innovation where people from around the world will come to show off their products. It is also integration. It's very important for the global economy. London has Canary Wharf, which has a lot of banks that have their headquarters based there, and it is a very big financial, working with money, around Europe and the world. A world city also needs to have an excellent world transport link. London has Heathrow, Gatwick, you have the London buses, you have the famous London taxis, you have the water transport, you have the underground, you have quite a few cruise ships that come in and out, you have ferry ports. So London and other world cities need to have a good infrastructure. As you can see, there are 8 main things to know. But if your brain, like my brain, is absolutely fried, let's try to simplify it. Any exam question you get will tend to only want to know a few. So these are my top tips, to me the easiest ones to remember. A world city needs to have universities, not just one, but quite a few really good top-notch universities. It is cultural opportunities where you can go and watch sporting events, cultural events. You've got the West End, you've got musicals, you've got live band, live shows. It has excellent transport links. To me, that's very important. London is a good example. You have Heathrow, you have Gatwick, you have ships that can go up the Thames to deposit goods. So it has the underground. So that's also very important. and it's a global economy. In other words, it's a financial economy, Canary Wharf. So to me, I would create a mind map of those 8 key words, but remember these 4. So, to make a world city, you need universities, variety, cultural opportunities, excellent transport link, and a financial capital. Universities, cultural opportunities, excellent transport links, and global economy. Remember those 4 things and you will remember what is a world city. You now know the difference to what makes a city a mega city, more than 10 million people, and a world city. Go ahead, remember that.